All right, good evening. Welcome to the April 1st meeting of the Economic and Community Development Commission. I'll call the meeting to order at 6:12. We can start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we're going to wait on the approval for the March 4th minutes, and we'll see if Beryl can hop on for a chairman's report. We'll just jump right in, Marina, to the director's report.
Okay, I think I see her. There she is. Great. Hi, Beryl. Justin opened the meeting, and now I think we can turn it to you for an approval of the minutes.
I can't hear.
Oh, you can't hear? Okay. Her sound is off. Her sound is messed up. Okay, well,
So can we have
Yeah.
a,
We have a quorum, so we can go ahead and
Right.
can I take a motion to approve the March 4th minutes.
I make a motion to approve the March 1st meeting?
And a second.
I will second that.
Thanks, Brett. Any discussion? Any corrections? No? All right, can I take that by unanimous consent? All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Anybody against? No? Okay, great. All right, on to the director's report, Rena.
okay, I'm going to keep our report somewhat short since we started late, but just hit some high point items. I want to start with the item that was the reason we changed the time of our meeting, because following this meeting, we have a meeting of the Tax Partnership Committee for the town. That committee has recently been reconstituted. That is the committee that makes recommendations to the town council if there is a tax an application submitted for tax assistance for a company. So we had an organizational meeting last week. Tonight, we are having a meeting that will address our existing ordinance. There's some state statute changes that were passed. Our tax incentive program follows state statute. In the past, we hadn't updated it since 2017. So some new state statute has been in place for a few years, and we're going to look to update our ordinance. We can do less than the state enables us to do, but we can't do more. So that's kind of one of the items. There also is an actual application that will be before the committee tonight. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in a moment, but I just want to say that we do have 2 members of economic development on the committee. That is Fred Petrosi and Massimo Malozzi, and they are members. The other members are town council members. So the town council chairman, Carl Massaro, Mike, what is Mike's last name?
Buzzwell.
Callahan, and Justin Marsh are the town council members. There's also staff to the committee. G is clerking the committee. I staff the committee, and finance, the tax assessor, and the first selectman's office may also be present tonight. I want to, without getting into all of the details of what the company is and so forth, because I think that that I'm not ready to share all of that fully with this committee. We should be dealing with this within our tax committee, although it is a public meeting. But some of the elements of it are not public. So there is a company that is a R&D medical manufacturing technology company in an adjacent town that is looking to move to 75 Merritt Boulevard. That is a building that is in foreclosure. It's a declining building since Unilever mothballed it in 2014. It had two other owners. They were not able to multi-tenant the building for reasons that it really wasn't a multi-tenant building. It wasn't constructed that way. Very challenging. This is a single user. They will bring good jobs. They have a growth plan. They've been growing a lot. And they're asking for some consideration for a tax incentive. According to our program, they also have requested part of the reason why we wanted to kind of update our ordinance to allow for what the state kind of allows for in some cases is that they are asking for a number of years beyond our current program to make the numbers work and have some level of predictability as they grow their business. So they're taking on a very large building and they will grow into that building over time. So I want to remind folks that our tax incentive program does not discount the taxes on the property that are currently in place. We don't ever go lower than any current taxes. What we do is we discount the tax growth over time based on a percentage basis, which the incentive declines over the years till they're eventually, without an incentive and subject to full appraisal and assessment. Okay, so we discount through our program the incremental tax growth. We never, ever discount the existing taxes, the base taxes for the building. So we will be hearing that tonight. The way the process works is that tax committee, and Evelyn will remember, because I think that you may have sat on the last committee.
Hmm.
Remember, do you remember that, Evelyn? Or I thought you were on it.
I don't recall.
I think you were, because I always think when I was looking at some of the notes so many years ago, so many meetings and committees.
Yeah.
But anyway, the way it works is an application comes to me. I do a threshold review of that application to make sure it meets the criteria of an underperforming property, jobs, that there's benefit to Trumbull, that it has the proper, it has a significant amount of capital investment above the purchase price of the building, stuff like that. So, and then I pass it to the tax committee. The
Mhm.
tax committee has their own due diligence around the application, and they make a recommendation to the town council, and ultimately the town council has to approve or disapprove of the incentive. So that's where we're going, but I'm hopeful that this is a really great win for Trumbull if we can get this company to a point where everything makes sense for them to come here. And the reason it's a little bit of a challenge is that they have a facility in a neighboring town, and they also have an open plot of land that they can build on in that town. And that was the course of action that they were starting to go down. What this building represents to them is a longer term growth, whereas, they can expand for the long term in this building. It's got that kind of room and capacity. In Stratford, did I say Stratford? In the neighboring town that they may be coming from, that property would only allow them to build to a certain level, and it would be sort of midterm growth, and it might not serve them for, 2 decades kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so the company is growing. They've had like 30% year-over-year growth for a number of years now. That's significant. They're an international company. They export as well. They've won awards as an exporter. So you'll hear more about the full deal next month when we have a better handle on how the tax committee is taking to this or not taking to this and what they're going to recommend to the town council. If it comes to a point where the tax committee is recommending to the town council an incentive, I would ask the commission to consider supporting that. I think that we have had a successful little team of folks that have written a support letter for another project. Perhaps that team or a similar team could consider a letter of support if the commission felt that was appropriate. It would be up to you to determine that in the future when we see what the tax committee says. So I think we can ask maybe Massimo and Fred to report at the next meeting and make a recommendation to ECDC in terms of whether you feel ECDC should take a position with the town council. Would that be okay?
Yep, that would be great.
Okay. So I'm gonna move on from that unless there's any questions. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about was I am so excited about this next project. I cannot tell you. And I am just, it is my new best friend. And I am dead serious about this. John Nair, who is the director of the Christian Heritage School, the chief of operations, has been instrumental. Brian Fitzgerald, who's in our office, has been instrumental. Dimitri Paris, instrumental. Angelo Magliocco and Phil DiGennaro, who are doing the development of the medical office, have been helpful. Who am I missing? Oh, and Deb Silber, who is Tony Silber's better half. She is a historian. She's been involved and very helpful as well. And what this is a project to save and restore a portion of the former Long Hill Schoolhouse that was on the property where the medical office building is being built in Long Hill Green.
Right.
It was determined that 600 square feet of the structure is the original schoolhouse. It has been deconstructed. You know what we'll do? We'll send some pictures of the deconstruction around. And by that, what they did was they demolished the pieces of the structure that were not historic or historically significant. They then cut up the 600 square foot rest of it and labeled it piece 1, piece 2, piece 3 kind of thing. Dimitri helped haul it out over to Christian Heritage. It's being stored there. We are going to do a community-wide fundraising. I will be leading the grants, the fundraising efforts with the help of others, I'm sure, and maybe some of you. We will be asking individuals, Boy Scouts. Bill, I want to talk to you about a way to get the Scouts involved. I think there might be groups of Scouts that would love this. We want to go to Jane Ryan's school because Jane Ryan taught at this school. So maybe that would be a place to go to a parent club there and others. We would not eliminate anybody. I've already put an ask out to see if John Nair and I can come to the Rotary. I'm Karen Del Vecchio and others on the Rotary are going to help me get that meeting. I guess they're in the next month or two, their president is shifting. So I'm trying to figure out, do we go in before or when the new president or after? So I'm working on that. I've already started a talk with the Trumbull Chamber about it. And there will be businesses, for example, that may want to give a discount to doing the roof, you know what I mean? Or help us do the cost. So where we are now as an internal team, which John Nair is part of our team, we are going to meet right after Easter and we're going to put together a comprehensive scope and budget. Dimitri has identified a location that so far all of us are thrilled about right here on the town hall campus. It will be highly visible. People will see it going by, be able to appreciate it or say, I had something to do with the restoration of that. We planted the flowers, we did the windows, we painted the wall, you know, we hammered the stairs, whatever. And it also will be functional for meetings, a small extra meeting space or community events. So that is the plan for that. It's a very small, manageable project, but we want it done right and we want it to be something that we're extremely proud of. And the vision is to actually furnish it in period furniture. There is over at the Historical Society, there is the actual original stove that you'll see in some of the historic pictures and other things. So I believe that this is a true community development project. While it is historic preservation and restoration, it's community development at its best. And this is a great time for people. There's a lot of divide and a lot of poor discourse around certain things in our communities. This is an opportunity for people to come together and do something really promising and positive to celebrate our local history and to pitch in and do something really special for the town. If you go to Fairfield ever and to their town hall campus, they have a few like little historic buildings on their campus as well. And that's a great model. So we would love, as we move toward the fundraising and planning and action steps, the commission here to get involved. Please think through your knowledge of the community, people, organizations, parent groups, that kind of thing, and email me with any contacts of people you feel I should talk to. Shanice is going to do an article on this, I think soon, because she did some interviews with John Nair and she's been following this, and I think she got some pictures and stuff. So she will probably help us shed some light on this and get the community excited. She does a great job with whatever articles she does, and she's always very thorough. So I'm just very excited about it. I think it really is a great project. Any questions on that project?
Rita, do we know where on the town hall campus we're thinking about putting it?
So I haven't walked the exact site. We're gonna meet down there the day of our budget meeting, but it's behind the library somewhere. When I say behind, sort of, I guess if you're on Churchill Road, it's in front of the library. If you're coming into the front door of the library where the parking lot is, it's behind it.
Okay.
Gotcha. So by the entrance on Quality Street, I guess, right?
Not that close to Quality Street. It would be behind, if you're going in the Quality Street entrance to the library, it would be behind the library. So over here, you know where the gazebo is?
Right.
Go kind of behind there to the back of the library over there. It would be over there. And
Gotcha.
Dimitri has an exact spot mapped out. And I think he may have discussed it with George Estrada, but I haven't walked out there to go see it yet. I mean, I'm in heels, I'm like, I got to bring my sneakers that day. Like for a route, and then next thing you know.
You said this was a school?
Yes,
The
it
fir-
was, and I have a whole, if
You-
anybody's interested in the history, John Nair gave me a wonderful binder.
Uh-huh.
He has a whole history here, and some of the old pictures are great. And it is the Upper Long Hill School.
Because my in-laws came to Trumbull and opened up that which the Corner Deli.
Yeah.
I think around 1942. I'm wondering if
So this was, there's some, there is some, what do you call it? Discrepancy in terms of the actual date it was built and opened, but somewhere around 1894. And then there was some expansion in 1904. And then in 1930, it was converted, sometime after 1930, it was converted to a residence. So I have to digest all of this that John gave me, because there's multiple references to it, and there's a little bit of a different way that they present the history, but it's certainly historic. And Jane Ryan, as I said, who the school in the other side of town here is named after. So to be continued. If
Okay.
anybody wants to look at this, it's in my office.
Okay.
And we're going to add to this binder. We're going to develop a formal scope of work and a budget. And that's what I need to go pursue funding. So I hope you'll get excited about it. And again, if you have people, let me know.
Okay.
I want to mention, switching gears, but still sort of in the community development mode. I think I told you in the last meeting that the text amendment for the senior housing adjacent to 12 Cambridge office building. That text amendment went through. They went to the police commission with their approval. They got approved at the police commission. They expect to be at planning and zoning in May with their full application. That is what they've told us. So that is going to be 124 units with a percentage of them. I think it's 10%, slightly over 10%. I think 1 unit over 10% affordable. So the last thing that I had on my list, no, not the list. I want to just thank everybody who came, tuned into the mall study meeting. Lively meeting, but that's,
Mhm.
people have very strong feelings about it. But most people recognize that, the mall area needs to succeed. Many people recognize the potential of the area far beyond its current or historic potential. And then some people want to just knock it down and put a senior center there.
Ah.
I mean, that would be catastrophic for the town to
Yeah.
knock down the mall and have nothing there. I mean, we need the tax revenue. So, you always have different opinions. You understand why people see things differently. They have their own reasons, but we have to work with a majority vision and try to move that vision forward. And we are trying to do that. There's lots of opportunities surfacing, let's just say. So that will then need to go to planning and zoning. They will approve, kind of accept the plan. We have zoning regulations that have to be approved that will help set the table for investment going and redevelopment and infill development going forward and really helping to carry the vision forward. Then we also have to get that appended to the plan of conservation and development. You remember that when we all talked about it. So the last thing I wanted to say outside of just touching on the mall briefly is that I don't get overly involved in single family home development. When they did the Moorfield Farm, I tuned in a little bit here or there. I don't spend a lot of time on that. We have a lot of single family development in town. It is an aspect of the community and certainly aspect of community development, but it's more of a traditional aspect of it. And I tend to, the housing side is more on the diversification of our housing stock that I get involved with, community development activities and projects that enhance neighborhoods, like the Long Hill Green work that we're doing, or commercial centers, and obviously all of our business development and business retention and our private sector development, commercial development. That's where I focus, not so much on single family home. But I do want to touch on a very controversial text amendment that was continued at planning and zoning. There is a text amendment for the corner of Unity Road and Booth Hill Road. It's right at sort of I think a 3-way stop sign.
Yes.
Everybody know where I'm talking about?
Mhm.
The road is, I mean, the topography there is very, very sloped. There's a waterway and wetlands and so forth going through there. There is a text amendment that they're proposing to create a sort of village district, or to apply our existing village district there with some, I guess, tweaks. They have not approved that text amendment, but they've continued the matter. We're getting a lot of calls to the office about it. There are signs up. There are people very concerned about it. Vicky has put out a statement. I mean, I think we're all concerned about that corner, and the topography there and the wetlands there. So, like I said, I'm not overly involved. I have my own opinion about what I think should happen, but I'll keep it to myself at this point. But I think that if you live there, or if you have friends or neighbors there, you might be hearing about this. So you may want to tune in to this. So does anybody have any questions for me? Because I know we have to go to some of us have to go to G and I are already on site, but I know Massimo and Fred have to drive over to town hall for a 7 o'clock meeting. So I don't want to cut anybody short. I'm happy to answer any questions. But
But any more progress with over there with the oath of 111.
So the One Trefoil Drive,
Yeah,
that one,
Yes, One
that's
Trefoil Drive.
fully approved, but, you know, the appeal was filed. So they're appealing it.
Good. Yeah.
So we're just gonna have to deal with the appeal. Yeah. You know, some people were on Facebook, it was interesting, saying, well, that should go in Trumbull Center, the grocery store. They don't want to be there. You cannot force a business, just like if you had a business, somebody couldn't force you to go where you don't want to be for your business. I mean, if somebody says, I want to be on the other side, you know, the north side of 25, how are you going to compel them? What people don't understand, I want to explain this. You can have a Trumbull Bridgeport market demographically. You can have a Trumbull, Fairfield, Monroe, Easton market. And a mile or two each way shifts your market radius. Do you understand what I'm saying? From you know, from your market data, your demographics and so forth. So these retailers all have their own formulas that are well defined, and they know where they want to be, you know?
The other thing I've heard from people, when I see at work, is they just wonder why a grocer near several others right up the road.
Right, because the traffic counts are high. When people go out to shop, they tend to want to go near where other shopping is.
Mhm.
So if you look at Bridgeport Avenue in Shelton, it has Stop and Shop, ShopRite, Big Y down the street, and Trader Joe's coming there.
Right.
Okay, and that's just, they're all in the same corridor, because that's it. Business attracts business. They have the traffic
Right.
there. So it's people shop within the grocers tell me that they look in a 5 mile radius of the store site, and they look at the demographics, they look at the competition, so forth. So for example, Aldi's is not a direct competitor to this place. Aldi's is a discount grocer. This is not a discount grocer. They're not direct competitors. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually, Trefoil Drive has a lot of activity because there's always traffic cutting across.
Yeah, well, it's going to be on 48 Monroe Turnpike. So the intersection of 25 and Monroe Turnpike, that sort of take a big swoop around at that intersection. Those are our second highest traffic counts in the town. The
Yeah.
first highest are by the mall, right where the Merritt Parkway comes out and that whole,
Right.
right? So those are the second highest traffic counts, and they're just a bit off of that, right? So they're counting on those traffic counts that are in that area. It's just a better market area.
Yeah.
I mean,
First
it's
of all, I
not
think
that
it's
it's
good.
not that we can't attract something to Trumbull Center. It's just you have to get the right tenant that has the right market demographics
Yeah.
for that area and the right scale, you know.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
But, you know, it's just, I tell you what the facts are behind the decision making, so that if you're hearing people talk about that, you understand what the grocers look for, why they
Right.
choose one spot over another, you
Right.
know? Does anyone have any other questions? So just a couple of events that we'll tell you more about next month, but we're gonna do on May 20th, and Gia's working with me on this with the SBA. They're gonna bring their dog and pony show here to Trumbull for a resource fair for our businesses. So we'll need some help getting the word out, and Fred, maybe you can help us through the chamber. Also, we are going to be, I believe we're going to be hosting the Fairfield County Broker Network on the 25th of April. I am working on a location for that. So we'll send something out once we nail our location. I thought we weren't doing it until May or June or July, but I was at the meeting last Friday and they announced it. We're going to Trumbull, Rena's over there. And what? I said, all right, misunderstanding, but we will do that. We'll figure it out, because we always want to bring, you know, folks here, you know. So any other questions?
No, just if you need help on April 25th, let me know.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Carol, are you back? Are you able to hear and share or no?
I think her sound is, she's having a
Okay.
problem with the sound.
Gotcha. Our BRBC update. Fred, do you have anything for us on that?
No, at this time, we don't have anything new to share.
All right, and community input. I don't think anybody is here from the community, right?
There was somebody here, but I think they dropped off.
That's on S Brown. Yeah.
Oh, then that must have been Shanice, the reporter.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Thank
There
you
we go.
for sharing.
Aha, you got your sound to work.
Yes,
All right.
I
And a
heard
second?
everything.
Did he get a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Hi.
Okay, Fred and Massimo, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Good
Thanks. Good
luck.
night, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Good night.